It's time to discover, it's time to play. So let's get started right away.
Welcome to Loving to Learn. I'm Mrs. Grant, and today we're going to read the Emergent book, A Canoe Trip. Let's get started. Here on the cover, it reads, A Canoe Trip. You can see the canoe here, because a canoe you take on water, a lot of times down a river. Have you ever been on a canoe trip? Well, we're going to see what you might see when you go on a canoe trip. So let's take a walk through our book. Here, what might we see? A bird? Good. How about in this picture? What might you see? A turtle. Yes. How about here? A duck? Good. Here, a fawn? Could be, yes. Good thinking. How about here? That's a fish, isn't it? Yep, we see a fish. Do you know what this is? A squirrel? Yeah, I think you'd see a lot of squirrels on a canoe trip, especially where I live in Wisconsin. And then here, it's gonna say that they had a really good canoe trip. And that does look like a lot of fun. All right, let's go back and really take a look at the words in A Canoe Trip and see if we can read this together. A Canoe Trip. And this book is written and designed by Colleen S. Grant. We look at the first page, remember, to think about what's on this first page. And it reads, we see a bird. Excellent, because that's what we saw, didn't we, on the canoe trip? Let's read that page again. We see a bird. Think about this page. We see a turtle. Good, because that's what we saw. How about on this page? We see a duck. That's right, a duck. And there is a duck. Let's read that page again. I like how you figured out that word. We see a duck. We see a fawn. But that word isn't fawn, is it? Let's look again. Let's get it started. Deer. Think about what else this could be. Deer. Deer. Excellent job. We see a deer. And that's what we see up there. I like how you figured that word out. Let's read this page. We see a fish. What's that up here? We see a squirrel. And then we get to the last page. We had a good. We had a good canoe trip. We had a good canoe trip. Wow, you did a great job figuring out that last page. Let's start at the beginning one more time and read it so that we're very fluent at reading this book. A Canoe Trip. Written and designed by Colleen S. Grant. We see a bird. We see a turtle. We see a duck. We see a deer. We see a fish. We see a squirrel. We had a good canoe trip. That would be a fun canoe trip, wouldn't it? Seeing all those wonderful things. And then on the last page, it reads, I read this book 15 times. So read this book 15 times, cross out a number as you read it over and over again. Read it to everybody you can possibly read it to. Once you've read it 15 times, take the Emergent book chart, cross out the book, read all the other fantastic books, and you will be a phenomenal reader. Keep up the great work. See you later, alligator.